Hey everyone, it's Theresa and I am back today with a lot of beautiful farmhouse inspired crafts and they're all stencils. I'm going to start off with this cutting board. It is from IKEA. I want to say I got it for maybe $8. I'm going to give it a pretty good sanding. It is just a bamboo cutting board. I would say if you're looking to recreate a project like this, the best method would definitely be to start off with a board that is like 100% solid, not like the cutting board where it's pieced together, glued together basically. Anyways, I'm going to use a couple of stencils and some torch paste. I am a torch paste affiliate. I'm not really sure if that's how I would say it, but I am an affiliate of theirs. I will have it linked for you below if you want to check it out. I absolutely love it. I've purchased all of the torch paste myself and became an affiliate after the fact because I really do like the way it works. What I'm doing here is I'm actually just taking all of my Chalk Couture transfer off of the backing, and I'm going to take my fuzzing cloth that is very dirty and fuzz the back of the sticky part essentially of the transfer. Now what these are, they are all silkscreen stencils that you can use. They're adhesive so you can use them over and over again. And what I will eventually show you as well, that even after you lose your sticky, there is a way to kind of get around that, so to speak. What I'm doing here is, again, I'm going to just set up where I have my backer on part of that transfer so that it doesn't, attach itself to my desk, my workspace. It's just going to make the whole process a lot easier. Now, I am leaving some space up at the top. You're going to see here in a few minutes why I end up doing that. I'm just smoothing it all down onto this cutting board so that I can come in and apply some of my torch paste. I'm going to add a little bit of this painter's tape down here at the bottom just to make sure that I don't go, rogue and go crazy and end up with it all over the place. Now it is colored in this like red pigment for this torch paste. It doesn't come out that way. It's just so that you can see it. It's just a little bit of coloring to add to help you, know where you've put it, where you haven't put it, all of that. I'm going to just smooth it all through with my small squeegee, just like you normally would if you were using the paste. Chalk Couture typically comes with a chalk paste or a chalk ink, depending on your project that you're doing. This particular substance, the torch paste, is not a Chalk Couture item, but it works pretty much the same way, and I have to tell you, I absolutely love it. I would just, again, I'm showing you the project because I did really end up liking the overall look of it, but I would recommend not using a board like this that's glued together, and I'll kind of go over why, because there's a little mishap, but I end up fixing it well enough. I just like you normally would with your paste, you can put all of the excess back in there, and I'll be really honest, this is kind of pretty the way it ends up, just with the, with the tinted torch paste, but I think that would be a really pretty color to add to this. So now that I have added on all of that, I decided, of course it wasn't quite enough to add this tile print. I'll have my Chalk Couture link for you available down below too. It is over on my Chalk Couture website. I am a designer, so I do earn a commission off of that. If you end up going over there and you're like, oh my gosh, there's like a million things that I would just love to buy right now, there's a couple options. Obviously you could buy them all if you really wanted to, but a lot of people do join as a designer just to get the discount. It is a 40% discount, so it's pretty hefty. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. I'd be happy to talk you through it, help you figure out if it makes sense. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. But if it's something you're into, let me know. I am obviously into it. Some of these transfers, which is what we call the stencils, I've used many times over and over again, and some of them are still sitting in my drawer. So it kind of depends. Obviously, I tend to buy a lot more of them. They're not around forever. Usually they're around for a season or two. Sometimes they're, ones that they kind of keep as like a tried and true. Sometimes they retire them. So if you see it, you like it, let me know, and I can try to help you figure out if it's something that'll probably be available or if it's going to go away eventually. So here I am. Once it has completely dried, I'm taking my heat gun with kind of like a pointed nozzle. This is going to be sped up quite a bit. This part right here is sped up like 10 times Just so you know, this whole process probably took the better part of 15 to 20 minutes. But I'm taking my heat gun and I'm just going over all of that area that I've added that torch paste to. And I'm going to skip through it. I'm not going to have you watch the entire process. It is cool to kind of see it like up here as you're doing it, especially the first time. It definitely has the coolness factor. But you're going to go through and add the heat to it. Now, what is also happening right now is all of those smaller parts of the wood that are glued together, which is pretty common for most boards like this. It is pretty common for them to do that. They're kind of splitting. That's the glue is obviously there's a lot of heat directed at it and they are sort of splitting a little bit. What I ended up doing is I actually covered it entirely with some resin to give it a longer lasting effect. I don't have a picture of it because I gave it to somebody, but that's the basic gist of the project. So today is part of the Stencil It Up playlist and it will be listed for you down below. And we have CJ and Krista and LaParsha are all the hosts of today's video. And I will have their channels listed for you down in the description box as well. And let's go ahead and jump back into our farmhouse projects. I have this tea towel and I'm going to put it on a Chalk Couture ink. It's like an ink pad. It's not an ink pad in the way that it has ink in it. It's actually sticky. All it is going to do is it's going to hold my fabric kind of in place. It's totally optional. You can get away with not having one. But I bought one because I was like, well, I want to see how it works, how it does, and everything like that. But you could definitely get away with not having it. You just kind of make sure that your fabric isn't going to move around a lot. And now I have this whole transfer. It is an 18 by 18. However, when I bought it, I knew it was almost no chance that I would ever use this entire thing all on its own in one go. However, there's tons of different elements in this that I love to be able to put together completely on my own. So I've got this really cute little whisk. Sorry, it's kind of in like the bottom of the screen. I'll fix it in a minute. And I am just going to go over it with some of my ink. It's kind of like the chalk paste, however, it's made to be more permanent. It is actually, once you heat set it, it is permanent when it is on like a fabric or ceramic or something like that. So I'm just going in here with the color Storm for my little whisk, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to add different parts and pieces. Next, of course, I'm going to use the word whisk because it's a whisk. Why wouldn't you use the word whisk? And on that one, I'm going to go in with the color I'm thinking the Waverly chalk. It's the color Black Velvet, which is an ink. Again, same kind of idea. It's very similar to the paste. It's a little different consistency, but you put it on, you swipe off the excess, put it back in the jar. The only difference is you want to heat set it. That way it is kind of locked in there. So I'm just going around all of that little bit of writing. I probably should have added a little bit of painter's tape. However, I did not, but it's okay. I'm going to make it work. And once that's done, I'll just peel it back just like you normally would. The washing of it, the maintenance of it is all going to be pretty much the same. And now I'm going to take some of the little bit of like greenery bits. I don't know if you're over here from CJ's channel, but she loves her greenery. So I had to add a little bit of greenery in a couple of projects. Just because it's a little, a little nod to CJ. And I'm going to do that in the color Eucalyptus. Again, same thing. It's an ink. And these tea towels that I got, just in case you're looking for them, I got those off of Amazon. They're rather large, but I think they're pretty nice quality. I kind of asked a few people that have done a lot of the inking of what they liked, and this is kind of the recommendation I got. Once that is done, I'll kind of just fold it up, and I'll, of course, heat set it later on, but this is the overall look of this one. All right, for our next project, I'm going to use this as actually kind of like a wall piece from Hobby Lobby. I got it on clearance. Not too bad of a deal. It was $18. I think I paid like $4 and change for it. I'm going to do a full coat of the linen white chalk paint on it. And then I add a lot of different things for distressing and just kind of get it to that overall like rustic look to it. And I've got another one of my Chalk Couture transfers on here. And this one we're going to do just the regular paste. And I'm going in with Black Velvet for all of the writing. And then I'm going to use a color called Camel for the pies because it's just the cutest darn thing. And I actually asked my friends that are also chalk tour designers. We have like a whole little network, a little chat group that's going that we can, we kind of converse and talk about projects and get tips and stuff. So what I do is right there, I peeled it all back. And what that does is when you have your, excuse me, when you have your paste and you're going to take a little bit of time to do your projects, you peel it back so that it does not dry in the silk screen, because if it dries in the silk screen, it's going to look very, very faded. So sometimes that's intentional because you want it to look all very worn and faded, but a lot of times, sometimes it'll dry like completely and then you can barely see it. Now on this camel colored chalk paste, I had to add some water because it was very, very thick, and it's getting just where the point where it happens like that. It gets thickened, it dries a little bit over time. It happens. When you do that, you want to make sure you're adding distilled water just to make sure that nothing is going to grow in it. Now, when I peel it back, I notice I have a couple spots that have gotten pulled away. It's okay. It's an easy enough fix to make. All you're going to do is just realign your transfer back on there. You want to make sure it's 100% dry by that time. You don't want to add it back on when it's wet. And I'm going to just take the same black paste and I'm just going to go over those couple little spots. I wanted to show you this because if you do end up messing up, it's super easy to fix, way easier than you might think. I'm just going to add a little bit of the paste and run it through the screen and just in the spots that I needed to add it to, and see, it's just as good as new. Once I do that, I just add it on top of this really cute little riser that I got from the Dollar Tree. I didn't glue it on because I'm not like 100% sure that that's what I'm going to do with it, but that's what I did. I know it's going to be like a stand. Now I have this transfer, and it is way back from August. That is part of one of the club transfers that we had back in August, and I added it using some of this stencil adhesive spray that I got from Hobby Lobby. Super easy to find. It's just back with all their stencils and stuff. And it gives kind of an extra long life to your transfers that might not have any stick left. I have hard water, so my transfers will lose their stick a little bit faster. And especially because this is one of the first ones that I had and I used the heck out of it. So I needed to add that stick back to it, and then it works just the same as it normally would. And you add, again, I did the same thing with the black velvet and worked it all the way through that screen, and here's how it comes out, and it looks so nice. I added a little bit of greenery and a little bit of jute here at the top just because it needed a little something, and as C would see, needed a little greeneries. And that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Do not forget to go check out the playlist and all of our host channels. I'll have it again all listed down for you below, and I will see you next time. Next time's going to be a super special video, so make sure you have that bell rung so that you don't miss it.